We're doing it live, TJ. We're doing it live. Fucking Rumble Studio doesn't even want to work. I'm coming in. Look. It's not even popping up on the screen. TJ, do you see the screen?
There you are.
Is it working?
I see it now. I think it's working.
It's not working for me.
Bro, get it together.
Oh, there we go. No, Rumble Studio was giving me the business. Hopefully it was good on your guys' end. It was still playing my intro video on my end, so I didn't see us popping up. I'm already getting the business from Studio, guys. So hit that like button, share the video, because I don't know if Rumble will. They're already giving me the business, like I said.
It's going to be a chaotic day.
Yeah, share that video. I didn't even share the video to all the places I'm supposed to normally share it, so I need to do that while I talk to all you fine people. Let's see. I need to share the link. Hang on. How's your day been? Yeah, TJ, you talk. How's your day been?
Day's going all right. Haven't done too much yet. Going to definitely, after this is over, get the dog to the dog park. Gotta go and do some babysitting for a family member with dementia. So the mom wants to go to a baseball game. So I gotta do my good Samaritan deed for the day.
Well, I just got back from work. I am no longer an unemployed Californian. I now work as loss prevention at a retail store.
Break the mold.
So hell yeah. And thank you, Andrew Jacobs. Big fat thumbs up with a $1 Rumble rant. Much appreciated, sir. Much appreciated. But we'll be getting into the show in just a moment. I got some pretty good stories for you guys, which I am surprised I found the stories that I did find, considering I mean, look, I'm not even ready now. I'm still needing to send stuff out and whatever else. But I got off work about an hour ago, and I set this up for you guys. So we're gonna have a good show regardless. Work or shine, rain or shine, all that good stuff. I have the links. I'm sharing them out, so we'll begin here.
You gotta get into that routine, man.
I know. Look, I'm out of routine. I haven't worked it since. Look, TJ, I've been out of work since September. Okay.
Gotcha.
So I got to get back into the rhythm of things.
Absolutely.
Okay. Almost done sharing the links. Got to make sure everyone gets it. Of course. Got to. All of them. Everyone gets all of these links.
Mad Stork just talking mad shit.
Mad Stork with his mad shit. That sounds about right. Look, I invited him on the show, and he's like, let him drown. Anyway, okay. So first story I wanted to talk about, because I saw this trending on X. I also saw it a bit last night. So let me go ahead and pull it up. So before I pull up the story, so people were basically saying that Amazon was talking about a plan to list the prices of the difference in cost on their items due to the Trump tariffs. So they were going to have the cost of the item and then the cost of the tariffs next to it.
Yeah.
But that's all hearsay. That's all alleged. Amazon has come out now and said that they have no plans to do that. But this is only after the White House came out and criticized it. So let's see. Amazon said on Tuesday its low-cost haul unit had considered listing import charges for goods in light of new U.S. tariffs, but denied looking at such a plan for its main website after the White House accused it of hostile political acts. So, low-cost haul unit. Okay, so I don't know what their low-cost haul unit is. Do you know what that is, TJ?
I have no idea.
I'm assuming it has something to do with their delivery.
Yeah.
So they were using the numbers for internal pricing and stuff. They weren't going to do it like on their website, is what they're clarifying. Which is fair. I mean, that's fair if they need to have internal record of like where the money's going.
Sure.
Says the Seattle retailer spent a chaotic morning denying a report from Punchbowl News that it planned to display prices showing tariffs impact on Amazon.com. Acknowledged it had considered it for certain inexpensive China-made products on haul, but then rejected the idea. So I guess they briefly considered it and was like, never mind.
Right,
me personally, I think this is whatever. Like, if they actually turned out to do this, I mean, what would actually be the issue here? Besides, I guess it's possible that it could make Trump look bad.
Right. I think that there's a level of like politicizing the.
Well, that's what the White House said. Essentially, they were saying Amazon's politicizing this.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess it could be a politicization.
Yeah. I'm curious because like for Amazon, Amazon's almost like a pass through, right? Because like it's when you go to buy an item, it says like from this company, right? So who's actually getting hit by the tariffs? Is it that smaller company that is selling the item that you're buying through Amazon, or is it Amazon that's going to be like hit?
It depends, right? So if the company is in China, then regardless of the size of the company, they'd be hit by the tariffs. So it's if the
Yeah,
company's based in China, so Amazon necessarily wouldn't have to deal with any of the cost on that. Maybe for shipping, they would have to deal with some tariffs there. But as far as the items, the goods, they're just there to facilitate the transport of it. So the tariffs would still fall on the companies outside the country. If anything, Amazon would probably be liable for collecting the tariffs. So maybe I'm not exactly sure how it works. How it might work is like Amazon is charged for the tariffs, so then they're responsible for claiming it from the person they're buying from.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm just wondering like it seems like with the tariffs, like corporations could eat the cost or some of the cost for the tariff if they're deciding to sell a product from one of these tariff nations. Um, but if Amazon isn't wanting to absorb any of the cost and is passing it straight on to the consumer and is also wanting to display the price for how much it would be with or without the tariffs, then I don't know. There's something there. I'm not exactly sure what my thought on it is, but I'm piecing together
I
something.
think if they were to go through with this would definitely be bad for Trump. Just for like the non-political person just doing their everyday shopping, because everyone buys stuff on Amazon at this point. Like
Right.
here and there, you buy something on Amazon. It's just easier. Um, if you can go to a store, I'm sure a lot of people do, but it's just easier to go on Amazon sometimes. Everyone shops on Amazon. So even just like the non-political people, this would affect them because all they would see is, oh, tariff. And then they go on Amazon and they see that little number and it's like, oh, this number's here because of the tariffs. Then people are going to associate, oh, bad, Trump's bad.
Right. It's a consistent smear campaign against him
the,
going.
the like Mad Stork saying, the optics would be bad because
Yeah.
we already have the tariffs in place. But if you put a physical number to it where people have to see it, that would definitely look terrible for the Trump administration.
Just bought a who said that? Just bought a new mouse on
That's
Amazon the
melted.
other day. What'd you name it?
What'd you name it?
Yeah.
Mouse for computer, TJ.
Oh shit.
I couldn't tell if you were
Dude,
joking.
no, dude, just dad jokes.
God damn it.
Just say I'm the dumbest smart person you know, or the
I was
smartest
gonna say
dumb person you know. The two.
can we get a $1 Rumble rant for TJ? Got to give him a thumbs up on that one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Got dad jokes for days.
yeah. If only that was a dad joke. We'll just play it off like it was.
Okay. You think so low of me to think that I actually thought he was talking about a pet mouse, but okay, we'll go with that. I'm just
Yeah,
a
no.
dumb dummy.
Yeah, I gotta punk you a little bit, TJ.
Yeah, good.
Well, so I got a video we could react to. It's Ben Shapiro talking about Governor JB Pritzker. He was talking about how he's calling for like mass riots and stuff now. He's like, I'm not one. He basically was like, I'm not one to call for these sorts of things, but I am now.
Dude,
Is
this
basically.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna finish. He's like, I don't normally call for these, but I am now. And then I wanted to see. I haven't seen this clip from Ben, but Ben has the clip of him talking about it. And I want to get Ben's reaction, and we can talk about
This
both
is
their thoughts.
always this is crazy to me because you think they would have learned. We have all those videos from the 2020 riots where they're like, "You get out there and you make a scene," and
TJ, they learned that they won't have any repercussions from this. And in fact, wasn't there a bunch of rioters that sued the cities they were in and ended up winning a bunch of money from the cities? Peace out, Mad Stork.
Yeah.
So what did they learn, TJ? They learned that they could riot and get rewarded for it.
Yeah, we positively. Oh god.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, positively reinforced.
Yeah, there was no negative reinforcement during those riots.
Yeah.
So let's see this clip from Ben talking about JB Pritzker.
He was giving a speech in which he suggested that basically anybody who's a supporter of Trump ought to be harassed on the streets, a la Maxine Waters several years back. Here was J.B. Pritzker doing this routine.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. But I am now. These Republicans cannot know.
And people cheer for it.
No, that is scary because he's like he said not just mass protest, but he said mass disruption. Like that's I don't know. Would you say that's on the line, or would you say that's crossing the line into violent action? Because that's like the most vague way you could ever tell someone to go commit violence.
Like political disobedience or whatever the phrase is.
Well, he outright said mass disruption. He said he wants mass disruption. That can mean a lot of things.
I'm throwing around other terms that are vague like that. You know what I mean? And I kind of like, as much as we know what he's implying, I feel like in a legal sense, you know, that is like someone helped him write this speech, and they specifically chose that word for a reason. And I think that word specifically.
Well, let's walk down that line of thinking then. If you're in court and you had to argue what this guy's interpretation was of disruption, what do you think he meant by disruption? Like blocking streets? That's illegal. You can't you as a government official especially cannot direct people to block streets.
Disruption is not violence, though. You can be loud in a you know, like if there's some sort of like city council meeting and you are, you know, vocally objecting, you can call that a disruption. And, you know, is that like you'll get removed from the room, but is that illegal? Are you going to get charged for being removed?
Well, certainly, and that's you know that argument can be made. But when we're talking about mass disruption, I don't think about someone screaming and yelling in a room. They can be removed. When I think of mass disruption, I think of building takeovers, blocking roads, massive protests, blocking buildings. Like, I think when I hear mass disruption, I hear like more on a grander scale. Let's just call it a dog whistle, is what Tactical Tinkerer said. Yeah, and it absolutely is a dog whistle. He's whistling to his base like, hey, guys, summer's coming around.
Yep. And, honestly, I expect to see more of these videos because this is going to be, once you see someone gain some amount of virality from, saying outlandish things, the other people will, jump on board with it.
Hell yeah, Melted. I love those emojis. He's got emojis of me with the cat bumping its head and then some dollar bills.
Hell yeah.
There you go. But no, I have another video because we're talking about, like you said, we're going to start seeing more videos from this.
Do we need to finish out at least some of what he's saying, or do we basically get what you want?
No, we can go through with more what he's saying. I want to hear Ben's response. We can talk about Ben's response. What's called? But the other clip I'll pull up after this because I need to re-find it. But it was basically, let's see if I can.
Can I clarify my position real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
First off, I think that he is using language that, is not technically illegal or whatever. And so I don't think that there's really grounds for anything on like First Amendment calls to violence or what have you. But B, we all know what he's implying, and he should be judged extremely heavily for that and should be shamed and ridiculed because we all know what you're trying to do and it's evil.
Melted said F stream. What are you talking about, Melted? Oh, Shitty Gov said, I dumped my whiskey bottle down the sink. I'm done drinking. Nice.
Good man.
Good. So what's called? I have another video from Ilhan Omar that we have from Libs of TikTok. I'll play that after this.
All right, let's go.
Because that one's an interesting one too. But I want to see what else he says here.
Moment of peace.
Wait here. Let me go back. I want to make sure everyone heard what he just said.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must test.
Yeah, he definitely is wording it very carefully because he said fight and follows it up with megaphone and microphones.
Yeah.
But he also said to not let a Republican know a moment of peace. That's on the line too. So he's got two statements now where that's kind of on the line. Where, like you said, nothing he said is illegal, but he's towing that line where he's trying to get that rhetoric in to rile up his base.
He's telling people to burn down cities without telling people to burn down cities.
Well, I mean that's the way he's hoping they'll take it, maybe. But he's being very careful with his wording, and it does seem eerily similar to kind of like what Maxine Waters was talking about. So here's my take on it all. If the human condition is to propagate, but you fail at propagating life, joy, prosperity, etc., maybe they decide to propagate the opposites of death, misery, and destruction. What do you mean, Wait, I'm confused, Tinkerer. Maybe they decide to propagate the opposites of death, misery, and destruction. Do you understand what he's saying?
So if the purpose of life is to, be prosperous and whatnot, and you're failing at doing it, then maybe going to the other extreme gives your life purpose. Maybe that's kind of.
I think that what you're saying makes sense. Yeah.
I think he's trying to say that's why the left is going so far off the rails, is because when they can't.
Yeah, they're going the opposite way.
Your life has to have purpose. Yeah. It's an interesting thought.
Tinker said you got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Okay. Well, let's see what else he says. Because I just had to pause there because he said, "Don't let Republicans know a moment of peace." That's pretty crazy rhetoric. Donald Trump ever said some shit like that? Never let a Democrat know peace.
Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard, and they call them an insurrectionist.
Yeah. So if they said something like this, but on the other side of the aisle, if it was Trump saying Democrats should know a moment of peace, that shit would be played 24/7 on a loop.
Immediate impeachment.
Mm-hmm. For calls to violence.
Yeah.
Get them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
So Democrats are unhinged. So instead of them just sitting there and saying, listen, President Trump isn't doing the job Americans want him to do, which would be the smart way to actually approach this, they've decided instead that they're just going to go psychotic. Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, would-be House Speaker, yesterday, he was in the middle of a protest, and he started quoting Ulysses S. Grant during the Civil War, suggesting that America could break down between patriots and traitors. Presumably the traitors would be Republicans.
Oh, I didn't know there was another clip of Hakeem Jeffries. Oh no. I thought Ben was going to go into his talking points, but all right. So I guess we have another clip. We'll play this one too.
The things these people say when they believe they're sitting in an echo chamber is terrifying.
Yeah, the echo chambers of some people are pretty wild. I try to avoid things like that. That's why I like having conversation with people I disagree with, because I want to make sure I'm not just speaking to people in a loop,
But even Hakeem Jeffries sitting here on these steps, the people that are surrounding him, he could call for the death of, however many people, and these people would cheer because they're just so in their own bubble where whatever the cult leader says is to be celebrated,
I mean, TJ, they already cheer when you say that you want to protect people aborting their babies. They already cheer for murder.
100%. 100%.
Anywho, let's see what he says here.
In a letter that Ulysses Grant was said to have sent at the start of the Civil War, of course, the great general who subsequently became president. And at that moment of great turmoil in the country literally tearing itself apart, Grant wrote that whatever my prior political positions have been, my prior opinions have been up until this point, I have but only one objective now. And Grant then said, we have a government and laws and a flag, and they must all be sustained. Government, laws, and a flag, and they must all be sustained. And then he said something even deeper than that, because at that time in American history, there were multiple parties. We're in a two-party system right now, but there were multiple parties. And what Grant said is, there are but two parties in America right now, patriots and traitors.
Okay, so this is just psychotic.
So he's quoting Ulysses S. Grant. and he's quoting him saying that there's only patriots and traitors in this country. That's pretty funny. But where even is Hakeem Jeffries? Why are they in a small group on the steps of whatever that was?
Yeah, he really knows how to draw a crowd, doesn't he?
Yeah, what was that? Like the Capitol building, the Lincoln Monument? Like what was that?
Yeah.
Like that was super weird. But I kind of want to see what Ben says about that because that was just super weird. Like I don't even understand where he's speaking.
I feel like there's a level of like dehumanization that he's trying to get to. You know what I mean? He's trying. We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. And he's just trying to, you know, get people in the mindset that you have to, you have to combat the bad guys, and who we say are the bad guys, and then go forth and destroy. Right?
There's only patriots and traitors, TJ.
Yeah.
Let's see what Ben says.
Okay, because now he's not even arguing about violation of law, supposedly by the Trump administration. He's not arguing about emoluments. He's arguing here about the budget. He's suggesting if you're on the wrong side of the budget negotiation, then you are a traitor. So again, President Trump is blessed in his opposition. Absolutely blessed. He brings out the absolute worst in all of his enemies. He was giving us...
Oops. So yeah, the J.B. Pritzker one was more substantive. The Hakeem Jeffries clip, we could have skipped that one, honestly. Tyler today, tomorrow, always tomorrow. There's just so much news. You can't address it all in one day sometimes. Anyway, let's see. Let's play that clip from, let's see. Where is it? There it is. So this clip from Libs at TikTok. So we'll move on to this clip. So we have this from Libs at TikTok. Democrat Ilhan Omar says the quiet part out loud. We are fighting to protect illegal immigrant families from mass detention and deportation. Democrats are pro-terrorist and gang members. I need to find
the quiet part.
I'd like to find the longer clip. Yes, go follow the Quiet Part Pod. I need to find a longer clip of this because I don't like little 9-second clips like this. It should be at least a minute. But
30 seconds on either side, right?
Yeah, basically.
That's the rule.
So we're gonna play the clip, but it could be taken out of context. So just keep that in mind. But here's the clip. I don't really know how you could take it out of context.
We are fighting back every single day. We are fighting to protect immigrant families from mass detention and deportation. We are.
Okay, see, I don't like how it gets cut off right there, but what she's talking about is still true. They're fighting to protect immigrant families. She didn't specify immigrant families from detention and deportation.
Right.
I mean, what else would that mean?
I still hate that they are leaving out the word illegal or any undocumented or anything like that. To conflate immigrants with illegal or undocumented immigrants is a disingenuous manipulation tactic. And anytime you see them, fighting like that, that they're just spewing propaganda, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, why do they leave the word out? Well, they leave it out because it's beneficial to them to have it left out. Because if they include the word illegal, then automatically oh well, they broke in, get them out.
Yeah, I guarantee if you go through the comments, there's gonna be someone in there being like, "This country was built by immigrants." We're all immigrants.
Like I haven't heard that a million times.
Yeah, it's like that's not the argument, and you guys are.
What I always tell them, I was like, yeah, and we won a war to take it from you. Win a war to get it back. That's how it goes. Because there was a bunch of people on Facebook one day that were arguing with me about that. And I told them exactly that. I was like, you guys want the territory back so bad. The way you get it back is through a war, because that's how we took it from you. So if that's what you want, I mean.
Yeah. I had something, but I forgot it. Forgive me.
No, you're good. I mean, at the end of the day, none of us actually want war, but if people are talking about territory being returned to them, they have to fight for that. The word you are looking for is liars. Yes, these are liars.
Yeah, as I'm talking about them, using the propaganda and whatnot.
Propaganda. Right. All the propaganda. You know what? Let's talk about some propaganda.
Propaganda. When a British person takes a good hard look at something, they take a propaganda.
That's a propaganda. Anyway.
Did you just use your guy accent?
That's a proper gander. Let's see. So you ready to eat the bugs? Do you want to eat the bugs, TJ?
As long as I get to live in the pod.
No pods, but you get to eat the bugs.
I thought RFK was fighting against that. What do we got?
No. Actually, what RFK is doing inadvertently is causing the bugs to be put in your food.
Oh, so it's his fault.
RFK Jr.'s push to eliminate petroleum-based artificial food dyes may drive industry to tiny bugs in Peru to recreate Barbie pink. Why does my food need to be Barbie pink?
Yeah.
That's the very first question. Yeah. Why does my food need to be a vibrant Barbie pink? But no, this is funny, right? We're always talking about, oh, you're gonna eat the bugs, blah blah blah. Here we are trying to get rid of petroleum based artificial food dye. That sounds so much worse than it's normally put. We usually just talk about artificial food dye. When you say petroleum, that just adds to it. It makes me feel like I'm drinking gasoline.
Yeah, it just shows that they have always known that it was absolutely terrible for us.
Yeah, but putting that word in front of it just adds to it, where it's like, oh, that's definitely not food.
Yeah.
Why does the left want a war? I understand that they are stupid and can't think ahead, but why on God's green earth would they think war with the right would end well for them? Because they've never been in a single conflict once in their life, and that's part of the reason why they're on the left, because they don't know what a conflict is or looks like.
Well, I think it's because their ideas do not hold weight, and the only way to enforce your ideas when people don't want to accept them is through force. And so they're basically just resorting to the, their last resort, and that's the way that they want to enforce their worldview on the people. So, but yeah, is this article about the same bugs that are used to make red?
No, this is different.
Different bugs.
But so that's the funny thing, though, right? Is if we are going to be switching to natural food coloring, a lot of that, pink, red colorings, like stuff like that, a lot of that does come from bugs. So you're gonna be eating the bugs, guys. Yeah, you like bright colored candies, cereal, stuff like that. Eating the bugs, you're gonna be eating the bugs. So what would you prefer? You prefer crushed up insects and parasites, or chemicals that could possibly fuel your car someday? What would you prefer, TJ? The bugs or the petroleum?
God, this is like, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands? Like, there's no good answer.
Look, I rather eat the bugs, to be honest.
I mean, that's kind of where I was getting at. Like, I don't want to eat bugs, but bugs are better than petroleum.
I was gonna say bugs sound disgusting to eat, but like if there's an actual purpose to them in being in the food, then that's fine. Like if it's safe to eat and there's an actual purpose for them being in the food, that's fine. It's when they start forcing it on people, start obscuring the ingredients, naming it different things. That's when I'm like, all right, well now you're just trying to trick people into eating it. But if people want to willingly ingest that stuff, but it should be listed in the ingredients that it should just be labeled crushed up insect.
Yeah, I think or like whatever name it has for it, and then in parentheses bugs, so that people can like look at it and be like, oh, that's a bug.
It's got bugs. Yeah.
The name of this bug real quick.
Well, like Tim was talking about, I forget what it's called, but they have like a cricket powder, and that stuff they crushed up crickets into powder, and they don't call it cricket powder, they don't call it crushed cricket, they have some other name for it. So then you read it and you're like, that's an ingredient.
I think that we've been like conditioned to eat the bugs ever since the original Lion King. It's like there's that scene where they're like lifting up the stumps and like eating all the grubs and whatnot. And so I think that they were trying to implant the idea of eating bugs for a good long time.
Well, so Shitty Gov has a good point, right? Bugs can be a survival food, but not something anyone wants to eat every day, or vegetarians would eat bugs. It says, or vegetarians would eat bugs. So I have a question. Like, is it vegetarian to eat bugs? Can you eat bugs as a vegetarian or a vegan? The rules of being vegetarian and vegan just sound so stupid because they don't want to do it because it's a living creature, but all these plants are alive too.
Yep.
They're speciesist.
Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species.
But no, that's a good question though. Can vegetarians eat bugs? I I would think not,
I
right?
don't think so.
Because
In
that's a
theory.
type of animal.
Right.
I don't know. Let's read a little bit of this article, though. Let's see. So, as pressure grows to get artificial colors out of the U.S. food supply, the shift may well start at Abby Tampow's laboratory desk, whatever that is. On April afternoon, the scientist hovered over tiny dishes of red dye, each a slightly different ruby hue. Her task to match the synthetic shade used for years in a commercial bottled raspberry vinaigrette, but by using only natural ingredients. Oh man, what a struggle. TJ, what a struggle. How dare they make commercial bottled raspberry vinaigrette only using natural ingredients? How dare they, TJ? How dare they make actual food?
Yeah.
That-
It's disgusting that it's gotten to this point.
where they need a scientist to come in and be like, we're matching colors naturally.
Like, yeah.
The amount of bugs in some of your veggies would make your skin crawl. Boil raw broccoli, lots of worms and such come out of the head. Yeah,
Or if
well,
you, like,
that's why they
put-
always tell you to cook or to clean your food from the stores and stuff.
If you put like strawberries in vinegar or something like that, you can see all the creepy crawlies come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
And you know, people will just walk around the store and they'll just eat that right off the rack.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that, but working at Albertsons, I used to see that a lot. People would walk through the store with a bag of grapes, and I'm like, oh no. You're brave. You're braver than I.
Yep. All the pesticides on it and whatnot. Yum.
And who knows how many other like little kids wipe their boogers in there and stuff. You know, whatever
Come on,
else
man.
is going
Don't
on.
make me think about that.
Look, I was in a grocery store like multiple more than half the day. Some days I saw some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Hey,
It-
you need to
It
go.
is what it is. But when you're bored, if you work at a grocery store, when you're bored, a good thing to do is to walk down the aisle. I mean, you can do this when you're grocery shopping too. Just walk down the aisle and pick up random stuff and read the ingredients. That's fun.
I'm terrified to do that.
Like I said, it's fun. It can be real interesting because you could be reading something that you've been eating for years, and then you read the back of it, and you're like, "Wait a goddamn second."
It's so crazy that like everything in the stores is probably super unhealthy for you. Like,
Poison.
it'd be one thing if there was like a, hey, here's a we don't give a damn about your health section, and here is a, okay, everything natural. You don't have your food dyes, you know, you don't have all of these, preservative chemicals or whatnot. And I don't know, maybe there's the organic section, but I feel like even in the organic
Well,
section,
actually, the organic section's a lie. Yeah, the organic section's a lie. If anything, so they have the like the modified ones, right? That are the non-organic. And then what's called? So they have those ones, right? But with the organic ones, my buddy explained this to me one time because he used to work in produce, and all he did was he was studying to be a doctor, so he was looking into like just a bunch of health stuff, and he found out that it actually might be worse to buy organic labeled food because of their pesticide practices.
right?
So in some cases, it's actually better to buy the non-organic, or actually in a lot of cases, it's better to buy the non-organic because the organic label, they could skirt around that really easily, and then the practices for the organic food in grocery stores is just, it's not good. They don't actually care. It's a lie. That organic thing is a lie. And then you also have brands like O Organic, which the name of their brand is organic, so then you just see it on anything and you're like, oh, it's organic, and then
But
you
it's
read
really
the fucking ingredients and it's literally not. So it's absolutely, that's a major brand. That's a national brand. O Organics. Go into the next time you're in the store, I guarantee you'll see it because they have all kinds of stuff. It's not just produce.
How is that?
O
not-
Organics. You read the ingredients on some of their stuff, a lot of their stuff, it's bad.
Crazy.
Well, and then yes, Shitty Gov's talking about growing your own food. If I had my own place to live, yes, that's why you guys gotta like, share, support the channel. I have a job now, but you gotta help the channel grow, guys, because then I can actually afford to live in California. But anyway, let's read a little bit more here before we move on. We got about TJ. We still have about. We're only a little over halfway through the show. I don't think I have enough stories.
We can. I'm sure we'll make do.
We'll debate about something. I don't know. well, I'm going to keep reading this. So Tampao is part of the team in Sensient Technologies Corp., one of the world's largest dye makers, that is rushing to help the salad dressing manufacturer, along with thousands of other American businesses, meet demands to overhaul colors used to brighten products from cereals to sports drinks. So I have a question. A lot of these companies, they sell to other countries. Why not just use the ingredient that they're using in the other why are they now having to do research? You know what I mean? Like, because for the UK, for example, the UK has more natural ingredients. Why couldn't they just take the recipe from what they sell to the UK and now apply it to here?
Is that really what's going on? Instead of just using the recipe and equipment and everything that they already have for
You know what it
production?
is? They're stalling. That's what they're stalling. They're not actually having people research. They're like, yeah, go research for a few months, stall us a few months, and then we'll make the switch.
Until we can get these changes reversed and can go back to our old ways.
Hey, I guarantee all these major companies are lobbying the shit out of people right now. You need to get this reversed. My company can't handle this. Think about the millions of dollars they're gonna have to spend to change the machinery and like the processes and stuff.
Yep.
Especially for like I'm thinking about soda companies. Sodas are gonna get way better under RFK. I love it. I love my poison in a bottle.
They need to go back to glass bottles. Only
I-
glass bottles.
I agree, and I buy glass as often as I can. The problem with that is that it's more expensive. That's why they use plastic.
Yeah, so keep consuming those microplastics because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean you don't avoid the microplastics no matter what. The only way you avoid the microplastics is if you get glass. And I tell people even the cans have a plastic lining on the inside. I think it's like to prevent rust or something. So there you go. Your soda cans even have goddamn plastic in them. God forbid the companies that have the means need to spend to switch instead of us who don't have the means. Lol, 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 lol. Yeah, Joey, but that's what I'm saying is like they don't actually need to research for these new ingredients or these new dyes or anything. They already know what they need to use and what they need to switch to. I feel like their companies are doing research to delay the process, and they don't have to switch right away because they have until the end of 2026 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So they have a while.
It's also possible that like they have the healthy means of production that they're doing for these other countries, and instead of just giving us that product, they're trying to find a different way to do the cheap, disgusting way for us because that aspect is not banned yet. I hope that they start making this bug paste for the food coloring or whatever, and then in 2026 they're like, oh hey, by the way, we're also banning the use of bugs in food for artificial dyes, and so they spend all this money on doing the gross thing, and then they have to spend all the money again to do it the healthy way.
I don't agree with that. The only reason I would agree with them doing that is if like they discovered that these bugs for the dyes were causing adverse effects. If there's no adverse effects, I think it's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? I get no one likes the idea of eating bugs, but people eat what is it? It's like there's a certain sea creature that everyone eats that's technically a bug. It's shrimp, right? Shrimp are technically bugs.
Crab, shrimp, lobster.
Crab, shrimp.
Aren't all those bugs?
I think they're like part of the bug family.
Like wasn't a lobster
or lobster? I think lobster's a bug.
Wasn't lobster like a poor man food for a while, and now it's
something like that. So like I think it just depends on what we're used to eating and stuff like that. I mean, me personally, I would never eat bugs if I had the choice. But like I said, if there's actual purpose to it and there's no adverse effects, I don't see an issue. While also stalling for time, do you think they are doing bug paste for dye because normies won't buy the product if it doesn't look the same as it always has? Crabs are sea spiders, terrifying. Yes, crabs are sea spiders. So let's see, because normies won't buy the product if it doesn't look the same as it always has. I think that could be a part of the reason, because you look at like certain sodas, like I believe it's Fanta. Fanta has a different color depending on where you buy it from. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Really?
TJ, the Fanta that we have here in the United States is much more of a vibrant, bright orange. And the Fanta that they have in other countries is a lot more lighter. Like
Wow.
it's not as vibrant.
And what, do they want it vibrant so it pops off the shelf? So
I think
people-
that's what Shitty Gov is. Shitty Gov is asking the question: are they trying to match the color more exactly? That way, they don't lose out on recognition.
right. And yeah, that's what's tough. Like the honorable thing to do would be to, use that whatever healthy dyes actually exist and do a better job at marketing to promote it as healthier and, same great flavor, all new look or something like that, But
Well,
of course they
what's
won't
called?
do that.
And then Tactical Tinker said lobsters, but hell, certain cultures eat cockroaches and spiders, roast them up on a kebab. Yeah, there's also there's some places in the world they make mosquito burgers. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I have.
It's incredibly disgusting. They literally get like a bag or a net where there's a ton of mosquitoes, and they sit there and they swoosh the bag around, catching as many mosquitoes as they can. And then they crush them up a little bit, put them into like a mortar pestle, and then just fucking smash them, and they just get a ton of it and smash them, and then they form them into patties, and then they kind of cook them.
Wow.
So quite literally, mosquito patties. They catch a ton of mosquitoes, smash them up, and then form them into patties.
Look at us like sitting here justifying eating the bugs. We're
No,
like
I'm just
sitting
saying
here being
some cultures do it. I'm just, it is what it is. Match the vibrancy to keep the appeal. Yeah, definitely. I don't know who this random person is. Best viewers on streambo.com. I keep getting stuff like that from Twitch. Get out of here, bot. Hey, man, protein is protein. Yeah, if you need the protein, man. I heard a lot of cockroaches, I actually need to go get some protein from my bearded dragon over here to my left. He needs some, probably get him some worms.
You need to do a stream of just like feeding him.
A stream of feed my bearded dragon.
Yeah, that'd be like
Would that be something people want to see?
Dude, it'd be like National Geographic, and you can give
Oh
him
my
like
God.
commentary.
Here we have in the wild the bearded dragon.
You got to use your best Steve Irwin voice though.
Watch as he expands his beard. My brother is so good at it. We had a black widow in the bathroom one time. First thing he does is whip out his phone and start doing the best Ewar, and he's like, "Look at that spider!" He was doing it. He did like a good 5-minute clip talking about this massive black widow he had in the bathroom. It was great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was when we were much younger. I don't know if we still have the video. Like you said, phenomenal. But any final thoughts on eating bugs or this story? My final thoughts are I think it is kind of funny that here we are trying to make things healthier. We have RFK looking into all kinds of things that affect our overall health and our food, and inadvertently he is pushing companies to make us eat the bugs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Inadvertently.
Yep. For my final thoughts, I will just say that I will not live in the bugs. I will not eat the pods.
I'm assuming you did that on purpose.
Again, you think I'm that stupid?
No, that one was more on the nose. It's not fair to call it a widowed black woman. Wait, it's not fair to call a widowed black woman massive. Okay, Iron Man.
Iron Man. Coming in hot. Just that. He's already blowing it up.
Coming in hot. Oh God, is that
Right.
TJ? It is TJ Rainman. He is usually here earlier in the week. Are you here tomorrow, TJ?
I think so. I don't know. I might have some stuff going on. I'll have to kind of play it by ear, but I should.
That's fine. If not, we'll find a replacement. Anyway. You are easily replaced. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
Wow. No,
That's cold, bro.
I'm joking.
What
I'm
else we got
joking.
going on?
What would I have done today? I would not have been able to stall as easily if you were not here.
I'm a good
All right,
boy.
I think the other two stories will take up the rest of the time for sure. So we'll leave the other story I'm thinking of up. So let's drop this one away. Let's talk about, dude. This is straight out of. Let's see. Okay, what weapon comes to mind when you think of Star Wars? What like massive military weapon do you think of when you think of Star Wars?
X-wing. No, I'm just
The-
kidding. You're talking Death Star.
Oh, you think of the Death
Obviously.
Star?
Obviously, you're talking Death Star.
You want to read that title for me?
Dun, 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 dun. The United States is set to launch a satellite straight out of a James Bond movie capable of beaming solar energy anywhere on Earth. Huh.
Right? Death Star. Yeah, everyone should be saying Death Star. When you think of massive military weapon, you should think Death Star from the Star Wars. But the reason I liken this to Star Wars is because we now have. I'm assuming that they could put up multiple of these, so we could have multiple goddamn mini Death Stars hovering around the planet at any given moment. And instead of drone strikes, we could just be like, "Where's the target? Okay, fucking beam them." So that's terrifying. Because think about what our enemies have too. Because I know we've talked about rods of God. Do you know what rods of God are, TJ?
Isn't it just the giant tungsten rods? That
Yep,
they just
tungsten
drop?
rods that require no explosive payload, and when they hit the Earth, they hit with the impact of, I think it would be like 5 times greater than the bomb we dropped in Japan.
Right.
So the heavy ass tungsten rods, we dropped those from space. That's been a theoretical weapon. We've never used it or put it into play, so they say. Who can actually trust the government, though? I mean, we've probably tested that and more.
I feel like a giant mushroom cloud would probably be fairly visible. So,
well, they test things all the time, TJ. You know, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
all right, that's fair.
But no, super interesting. I found this story to be super interesting, and stories like this are exactly why I do not want World War III to break out. Because just think of the technology that they're not openly talking about right now. You know, right now they're openly talking about this. Right now they're open, like, hey, by the way, we can beam solar energy from space now.
We probably had it up there for a decade.
Yeah, and they've probably had it up there for longer than I've been alive. So if they're talking about this, just think about the stuff that they're just have waiting in the wing, right? Because all these countries, including China, I'm sure all these massive players on the world stage, the moment war breaks out and they start feeling the heat of things, they're going to be like, oh, here's some secret, military technology we were waiting to whip out. Because that's what these countries always do it. When they get into a massive conflict and their livelihood is at threat for the country as a whole, they start whipping out some crazy ass technology that they've been waiting to pull out. Because the moment you pull that out, like right now, we pull this out and now our enemies know about it. Well, guess what our enemies going to be doing? They're going to be working on ways to counter it, and they're going to be working on ways to make their own. So that's why we hide a lot of this technology.
A mirror.
So I'm terrified.
Directly back.
Yeah, prop up a bunch of mirrors.
But hold on, what exactly does it mean, beaming solar energy?
Let's read. So the United States prepares to launch a revolutionary satellite that will collect solar energy in space and beam it to any location on Earth. This groundbreaking technology, developed by an American company, Aetherflux, represents a significant advancement in renewable energy production and transmission that seems straight out of science fiction. Wait, is this for energy production, or is this for a weapon?
Right, and that's what I was getting at. Like, it seems like it's like for solar power energy.
So it is going to develop a constellation of modular satellites capable of harvesting solar energy in space and then transmitting it to Earth. Oh, it's not a weapon, guys.
It's not the Jewish space lasers.
It's not the Jewish space lasers, guys. I'm sorry. No, reading that title, I thought it was a weapon.
And also the image makes it look like it's shooting a laser beam.
I mean, so this is interesting though. So having a bunch of satellites collecting energy up in orbit, I mean, that sounds cool. I don't know how efficient that is. Like, how much energy are we actually getting? Like, what's the energy output on that? That's what maybe it says it. Let's see.
Greater than zero.
Greater than zero. Whatever, TJ.
Like, it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Let's see. China has demonstrated particular commitment to renewable energy with massive terrestrial projects. Recently, China built a massive 250-mile solar park to power Beijing. God damn.
Impressive.
You know, it'd be crazy if we just cloud seeded all of Beijing and then they didn't have power.
You're not the first person to think of that.
Right.
Like, that's potentially on the table if needed.
So yeah, it just talks about how this could replace some current energy sources. It doesn't have an output though. It doesn't talk about output.
Yeah, how do you transmit energy? Like, how do you transmit electricity wirelessly from?
It doesn't. It doesn't say.
Right. You got to have Tesla coils. We got to create Tesla coils all over the place, and then
I mean, I don't know. I mean, how does your phone charge when you just like place it on top of some of those chargers? You know, I don't know how that works. Do you know how it works?
I'm not.
I just know it works. I don't know how it works. Imagine explaining that. Like, imagine you go back 200 years and they're like, they had these things. They were windows that you could hold into your hand, and you placed them on certain specific platforms, and it gave them an electric charge. And they'd be like, "What the fuck did you smoke?"
Exactly.
No,
crazy. I possess an object in my pocket capable of accessing the entirety of human
the summation of human knowledge. Yeah,
and I use it to argue with people and send cat pictures.
I love that meme. I hold the whole summation of human knowledge in my hand, and what do I do with it? Argue with the high school friends on Facebook and look at mean tweets from our president.
Yep.
I can explain that to you if you want, the wireless charging thing. Well, the only reason I bring it up, Tactical Tinkerer, is because we're just trying to wrap our head around the idea of a wireless charger from a satellite in space collecting solar energy. That just sounds straight out of a science fiction movie or novel, either or. Yeah, beam me up, Scotty. For real. How much do you want to bet that it does both, TJ? How much do you want to bet it's like, yeah, we could send energy back to the planet for, powering things, or we can concentrate it into a blast that just that just beams a shit out of something.
No, it goes back to my argument on technology. Like, the splitting of the atom can be used to generate power for everyone on the planet, or it can be used to
you've heard You've heard the story of the guy that created dynamite, right?
Refresh my memory. I don't know.
So the guy that created dynamite, there was a rumor going around that he had died. So they wrote in the newspapers about him in obituary, and in the obituary they referred to him as the Merchant of Death. So he thought that's what history would remember him for. And he didn't like that. So he went on to create a bunch of other things that were life-saving for people. And he also went on to the same guy that made dynamite is the same guy that made the Nobel Peace Prize, because he wanted to reward people for helping humanity and bringing humanity closer together. He did not want to be known for the guy that made dynamite.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. But like you said, he made dynamite to make mining safer, and what it ended up being used for was war. So,
right. Yep, and it's just the use of technology. So, yeah, what I'm saying is that this space laser probably is used for power, but it can also probably be used for destruction. It all just depends on how someone decides to. What the hell are you doing?
Your dog just wants some loving.
He's kind of crazy boy. Look at this.
He heard Park and he's like, hurry up. But anyway, let's see. So moving on, next story. You had any final thoughts on that one, or were we good?
I think we're good.
All right, so let's move on. This one's a little bit of a spicy story. I think we'll talk about this for the remainder of the time. I have a feeling I already know your thoughts on this, TJ, but we'll talk about it anyway.
Mind reader over here. What you got?
Always. Meta allows Facebook and Instagram AI bots to engage with sick sex talk with children, including in voices of Disney characters and other celebrities.
What?
Yeah, what? So, what's it called? Meta's AI-powered chatbots on Facebook and Instagram are able to engage in graphic sex talk with users, even children, with the voices of Disney characters and celebrities, according to a bombshell report. AI is using the personas of popular stars like John Cena. Oh, my God. Christian Bell, Judi Dench, and were all capable of acting out sick fantasy chats with users regardless of age. The Wall Street Journal found a test on the software. Wow. The journal's testing plumbed the depths that the chatbot would go, including having a fake version of Belle reprise her role as Anna from Disney's Frozen to seduce a young boy, or having Cena play out losing his wrestling career over fictional... What? With an underage... dude, who's okay?
I'm confused. What the fuck? What happened?
So what it's saying is that the Wall Street Journal decided to run tests on their AI posing. So Wall Street Journal was posing as children to this AI bot, and the AI bot was having sexual conversations with them, and it was not like being hindered in any way because of their age.
Right. Well, so my question is like, we've seen all of these different AIs have some sort of restrictions, and we complain about a lot of the restrictions. You know, think back to what was it, Gemini's, you know, black Nazis or whatever, that it was image generating or what have you. Like there's a lot of things that we complain about based on the restrictions that are put in place on it. And so I could see the want to have a less restrictive AI, but how does Meta drop the ball so heavily into having like no restrictions to allow such degeneracy or whatever, you know?
To where even the point
Like,
that children.
is this just completely off the rails? Like, is this no restrictions?
Yeah, they're no, like, I know Mark Zuckerberg said he wanted to go to, you know, a more free speech platform, but I don't think any of us thought he'd go this far with it. You know what I mean? Because Meta is the new MySpace. I don't know what you mean by that. I had MySpace, but I never had anything sexual on there.
Dude, until Facebook has a top 8, I'm not willing to consider it a
What the hell?
MySpace.
But this is just crazy. It's like the Meta knows the age of the people, knows the age of their users. They should automatically know that when the AI is talking to a user, the AI should know the age of that individual. Like, I don't know. Like, what if they're asking? What if they're just asking like things that they shouldn't know about, just in general? And you have a kid getting access to these things.
Well,
that's sure they can Google. They could Google it too, but we should have the least amount of avenues for them to reach this as possible. And having an AI chatbot that can be any celebrity or Disney character that you want. Like, this is just gonna fuel the stuff that Tim talks about. You're gonna have all these 20-year-olds with their chatbot girlfriends, and it's gonna be what's her Lola from Bugs Bunny, like, and it's gonna be their chatbot girlfriend Lola. And they're like, oh, I can't go anywhere without my girlfriend. And it's just gonna be a fucking chatbot from Disney.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the movie Jexy? I think it was. It was basically. Do you know Workaholics? You know Adam Devine.
I've seen that, but wait, I just want to clarify for Tactical Tinker. Disney is not doing that to kids with the AI. What we're talking about is Meta is doing it. So this completely falls on Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all those companies. Disney has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, so in this movie Jexy, it's about this dude who gets a state-of-the-art cell phone, and it has like a Siri like feature to it, an AI assistant or whatever, and its name is Jexy, right? Instead of Siri. But it's basically like Psycho Girlfriend style, and she's like starting to control his life. And I don't know, I think there was another movie where a dude like fell in love with his phone because of the AI voice or something like that. And so it is dangerous for people to create like an actual relationship with their AI, you know? But yeah, to circle it back to this story, you would think that based on the age that the person using it is, there should be increased or decreased restrictions.
Joey said you're talking about the movie Her.
Yeah, good call.
What's called? No, in my opinion, if this is something that we can't regulate, like if AI is just too complex for us to regulate, which it's not, obviously, we know we could put guardrails. But let's just do this, because I'm in favor of banning the internet for children anyway. If an account is labeled under 18, you just prevent all AI usage. Boom, problem solved.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
because they shouldn't be using AI anyway.
What's the age restrictions for creating a Meta or a Facebook?
I think for most social media accounts, it's 12 or 14.
Okay.
Ooh, wait. I got an ad today, guys. Rumble Premium. I love to shout out Rumble Premium. So here's the ad. This sponsor is from Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. You guys need to get Rumble Premium. That we want to support the freedom of speech. You want the platform to get better. You want them to have better advertisers. You want them to compete on a better scale with YouTube. You got to support Rumble. You can support Rumble Premium. You can get rumble.com/premium/studio, and you can get $10 off the annual subscription. And then Rumble. Let's see. They have this whole thing that I could read. But guys, all you need to know is that they have so many different shows on here. You could spend $10 a month on Rumble Premium, or you could put how much is it now for Netflix and all these other broadcasting things, right? That you get just as many shows, if not more, with your $10 for Rumble, and you're supporting a free speech platform. You're not going to get free speech like how Rumble does it. Rumble really supports people. I mean, Rumble has never banned Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, any of these people that have been banned off these other platforms. Steven Crowder does his show exclusively on Rumble now. He posts clips to YouTube, but if you want to check out all of Steven Crowder's stuff, you got to get Rumble Premium. So again, join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we are just happy if you watch us here on Rumble. Thank you, guys. But we are going to have to start wrapping things up here a little bit. TJ, I have another clip I wanted to share about Michelle Obama, but if you're here tomorrow, we'll talk about that clip tomorrow. So everyone, I got a good clip of Michelle Obama. We'll talk about that one tomorrow. We'll get stuck talking about it, TJ. So that's why I can't bring it up now. Final thoughts on this story concerning Mark Zuckerberg. Again, this completely falls on Meta. This completely falls on his companies. What do you think this is? This is just an oversight? Like they just completely dropped the ball, missed this one, or do you think it was intentional? Do you think they wanted to let kids have access to this kind of schmut? Because I know we see places like Pornhub are perfectly open about how they don't want ID checks for their website because they know that children wouldn't be able to have access. So I don't know. Was it on purpose? Is it just oversight? I don't know.
I think that, there's just a level of incompetence. Meta is late to the race in trying to do the AI stuff. And so they hired someone who maybe doesn't know as much as, all of these people who've been doing it for years. And they tried to rush the product out and didn't have proper guardrails in place. And I do think it's oversight, but I do think that they should be shamed for not protecting children in that way.
Absolutely. Well, what's called? I'm actually gonna do something different today. TJ, final thoughts. Tell me, whatever you got to shout out. Let me get that banner up for you today. But Joey, if you're in the chat, I'm not raiding you today, buddy. I think we got to raid our buddy Thoughtcast. I think that's who I got to raid today.
Really?
But, it's got to happen. It's fine. Joey understands. We've talked about it. We got to raid other people. Got to spread our wings through the community. Try to reach out to others.
Shake it up a little bit.
Shake it up a little bit. So I'm gonna send everybody over to Thoughtcast. But closing remarks. TJ, let me get your banner going. Wait for it. Boom.
Nope,
right there.
Is it there?
It's there. I promise it's there.
Follow me on X. We'll yell at some leftists together. It was good hanging out, and we'll do it again soon. Hopefully tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Hopefully we'll see TJ tomorrow. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode. I tried to throw one together. I think TJ and I did a pretty good show considering I was short of time today. But be sure to congratulate me down in the comments on my new job. I'm no longer an unemployed Californian, so you should follow and subscribe on YouTube and Rumble to congratulate me on that. And besides that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hit the outro, send you over to Thoughtcast. He's talking about some other news and stuff like that as well. So be sure to let him know that I sent you guys over there. Peace out, guys. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. If you thought that was a great video, great live stream, great whatever you were watching, make sure you hit that like, thumbs up, whatever you're watching, hit that follow, subscribe, and if you really want to support me, you could always share the video and comment down below. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you follow on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Thank you, and peace out.